Good morning, Tim. It's Wednesday, November 29th, and this is blog entry number 14. This week, we are asked to talk about teaching reflections, sharing observations of classroom organization, setting, structures, routines, and how do students in my classroom learn best and why. I'll start with how my students learn best. And quite simply, it's by treating them with respect, by getting to know them, showing that I am committed to their learning and that I care about their interest. I found that building that little bit of camaraderie, asking how their day was, what they're doing on the weekend, if they're playing any sports, making it out to any of their local sporting events that they do here at the school, goes a long way into building a lot of relationships. And once I've built those relationships, I can really get them to buy into whatever I'm teaching because they have that sense of trust in me, or that I don't want to say friendship, but they look at me as someone that genuinely cares about them. And then it's now that I've gotten a lot of my students to buy into that kind of ideology, it's really went a long way into getting them to buy into me. So it's been good in that sense. Teaching reflections. It's well documented that I was struggling for a very long time when I started this. Things have started to settle out, thankfully. It's gotten a lot better. I'm not dealing with as many issues. That could be in large part to the fact that one student was eliminated from my class altogether, another was suspended, and then recently, as of yesterday, another student was suspended for actions outside of my classroom. But he was also one of those students that was a bit of a problem in the classroom. So breaking those students up really sent a message to a lot of the other students within my class that there is a zero tolerance. I found that the introduction of that safe, where I put student cell phones in it every day, didn't go overly well in the beginning, but students have now fallen in line with it. Some still don't put their phone in the safe, and they say they've left it in their locker or their car. And I said, I'm not arguing this. I'm not spending a ton of energy on this. If I catch you with the cell phone, you're just removed from class. So a lot of my students like to use it because they don't trust themselves to not glance at their cell phone or pull their cell phone out. So it's a safety net for a lot of students. For the ones that don't want to put it in, well, we'll see how that plays out. The classroom organization, the setting, structures, routines, rules, the climate, they all go hand in hand, and I'm developing them as I go. And I found that if I don't waver on what I'm putting in place, it is much easier for the students to just buy into it. I was unsure of myself when I first stepped into the classroom 6 weeks ago, but now that I have more firm footing in what I believe in and what I want out of my students, it sends a clearer message to them. The structure has not changed, the setting has not changed. I moved the rows of desks into 2 rows initially. I get a lot more of their attention now. I command their attention, I guess, in my delivery and how I approach them. I move around the classroom. I know we talked about that when we were first doing lesson plans. I constantly move around the classroom the entire time when I'm talking to my students, looking them right in the eye, and it really helps in that sense to get them to stay engaged if I'm not stationary like I am right now. Uh, Other than that, things, like I said, have been going better. I have a guest today from another school coming in. He's a transportation teacher. He's going to help me out for the day, give me some ideas on how to get through the rest of the semester with some of my students. But there are a couple things I did want to mention that weren't part of this entry. Day books. I never really understood the point of day books until just very recently. I found this old binder from, looks like, the 50s, a CIBC binder. And what I use this for is to keep track of my daily lesson plans, but most important, my observations throughout the day. And if a student has done something really well, I put it down in my book. If a student did something that was not productive or not up to the standard I think it should be at, I've also documented that because I've learned quite quickly you will be questioned on how you're grading, how you're assessing, especially with your learning skills marks. So I need to have, if I, for lack of a better word, if I get audited by a parent about why a student got a mark that they did, I can reference this and justify it and show that I did my due diligence in recording and tracking marks as I went along. I've also, and it's crazy because we live in such a technological age, I keep a book here hard copy of all students' grades on their assignments. And I use this, like I still load everything into the D2L, but I use this throughout the week to draw students' attention to assignments that have not been handed in. Students can go over it with me and we can figure out what's missing, what needs to be submitted. I've found this to be a very handy resource. And lastly, this trailer that I don't know if I mentioned it, but I brought in an old trailer, and it was originally an all wood trailer, minus obviously the deck was steel. But we brought it in, the students were ripped out all the wood, and I developed some blueprints, I suppose, of what I wanted the trailer to look like with measurements. And then we made a cut list, had the students make a cut list, and then start piecing everything together. They've also balanced the wheels on this trailer right now. They've welded a jack on. They welded on the side rails, fabricated some fenders, and installed those. Welded up a back gate with some quick locking hinges here on the end. Soon, we're going to go into the construction shop and do a collaboration with the woodworking teacher. We're going to develop a deck, lay a deck in this. I have some expanded metal coming that I'm going to weld on the back tailgate and the sides. Then we're going to sand it right down, clean it up, paint it, and yeah, this has been a great little project. Something that's been sitting in my driveway, like just rotting for quite a while. I've been able to utilize that to really do, a month of lesson planning or projects, I guess, for a bunch of my students. And every student has taken the opportunity to work on this, bits and pieces here and there. Some are more interested in welding than others, but the whole welding, the fabricating is a big hit. And I know you mentioned in last week's meeting about maybe moving me to manufacturing. And the more that I think about it, maybe I am more suited for manufacturing because of my welding background and my and working in sheet metal for as long as I have. But the reality is a lot of the jobs that get posted on there aren't manufacturing jobs, they're construction jobs, or they're construction jobs in school. So I don't want to pigeonhole myself by landing in manufacturing. I always figured that I could pick that up as an AQ down the road after I graduate. But I guess I have a diverse skill set. I have extensive knowledge in construction. I have a ton of manufacturing knowledge. Automotive tech or transportation, I suppose, I don't have a ton of it, but I mean, I'm doing it as I go. I'm being successful in keeping students busy, teaching them basics of small engine repair, how to change a tie rod, engine tune-ups, things like that. So it's been a wonderful experience in that sense. And again, I do question maybe manufacturing would have been a better fit for me, but I don't know that it'll isolate me from other potential teaching jobs that I'm worried about. Anyway, that's my blog entry number 14 this week. I was happy to show this trailer off to you. Things are going much better, and I'm very, very thankful that they are where they are right now. So I'm hoping to maintain that momentum, and hopefully it's more positivity moving forward that I can report to you. Talk to you soon, Tim.